Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start off with you just show me what you've been practicing.
Okay.
We're going to tweak a few things, make sure everything's going as being practiced correctly, and then we'll work on addressing those issues.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, so go ahead and just back and forth here. I'll just have you show me. What's your number currently?
37.
37. Okay, go ahead. Good, now go into slow walk here. Okay, now when she walks with you, is that what you're talking about with the getting ahead part?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be a lot more than that.
Okay, so what I'm gonna have you do is actually give her a little bit more slack. That's good right there, and you're at 37. Let's go and go to 42. What was the highest we went the first lesson?
I think it was like in the mid-20s.
Mid-20s, okay. So go in and relax, and I'm gonna have you try the same thing again, okay? And turn, tap. Turn, tap. Now go and go a little slower here. And slower to stop. Good. Okay, so it's a little bit better. And then lightly, did we do any of the sitting last time?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and pull up and tap here. And then step back with her, that's fine. Very good. So, when it comes to the forging, like in this setting, the number was too low. So you end up from mid-20s to like 37 this week, or 2 weeks, right? Okay. So now, there can be a number of factors. One, the environment. There's too much stuff going on that's stressing her out. You may see that she's going to forge a bit, so you have to compensate with more power. Okay, so we went from 37 to 42, and I can already see how she's kind of tightened up a bit more. Okay, so the number may change according to the environment, and it's just recognizing what's going to be enough. Okay, so if you go from, like, let's say maybe you go locking on the lakefront, and there's a lot of people walking around there, she's under stress. You know, you could be as high as 65, whereas in your neighborhood you could be at like 35. I mean, you could be at 35. Okay, so I always tell everybody, don't get fixed on the number. It just depends. Yeah, so you're constantly just adjusting it, and then once you get like used to it, you just jump to the like you just learn to recognize and go to the numbers and get the result. Okay, it's almost always the number is too low. The other thing was you had your leash a bit short, so it wasn't giving her enough slack to make mistakes, to be corrected, to close that gap, which is super important. So sometimes even just shortening the leash will create pulling. Yep. And tap. There you go. And relax, good. Going to give, there you go. Her little tooth cracks me up. So, you'll learn to recognize and then just go to those levels. You know, like, well, I'm going to Oz Park, probably going to be at 45 or so. And maybe she gives you a yip, then you just adjust and go down lower. Okay? So if you're starting off the walks, and what was your starting number, by the way?
For walking up here.
Walking at home.
Walking at home, it's usually about 32.
Okay. And then where do you typically end up at the highest point?
I would say I haven't gone any higher than like 36.
Okay. So let's say this week you find yourself going to like 45 at the end of the walk, or like midway in the walk, and then you notice that's when things get really good. Then I would just start my walks at 45. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in the beginning, because you're learning, you're essentially doing the research on what's going to be the number for picnic to walk with, right? So if every day it's like I start at 32, but I end at 45, and that's when she's perfect, then after a few days of that, it's safe to assume that 45 is the number, and I can start off at 45. So then the walk starts off good from the get-go. And then what you'll start to see is you'll start remoting less, because now you're starting at that correct number right away. So picnic's not wanting to, because the dogs will take those opportunities where you're lower to like do all the other stuff, and then once you reach the number, they're like, okay, now I'm going to behave myself. Does that make sense? Yeah. So I would do that this week. Experiment with point past that 36, 37, and then you might find it's 42, 45-ish. And then, maybe you have a couple of weeks of like really good walking, and then 1 week or 1 day she's not as good in your neighborhood, then just bump into more. For whatever reason, for that particular day, she's just needing more power. It could be poor contact. It could be maybe she's stressed. It could be the environment. Maybe there's something different. No matter what it is, it's almost always as an answer going to be just higher number to override. Okay. Any questions about that?
No, that makes sense.
Okay. How's the reactivity stuff then?
She's still reactive.
Okay.
When I walk her, it literally the dog is distance and hair stands up, she'll start to like something, stuff like that. We still are having an issue. It was so funny when I went home that it happened again to the dog, and I told her I was like, but there is a dog in our building that's very aggressive towards her as far as like whenever they see each other. The dog so that's probably one of the challenges that I'm having is what if a dog, is aggressive towards her or barks, at her, how do I respond to those?
Yeah, so you can still disagree with her. Okay, so technically she's valid, right? In her response, because she's going, this dog is putting up a threat, I'm putting up a attack, right? But it's like growing up as a kid, my mom was like, well, if someone's calling your name, it's me. But as humans, we would like tell the teacher or whatever. In this case, it's just teaching her like, look, I know that dog's being aggressive, but you're still not allowed to act that way. Okay, so you would handle it, especially in any other reactive moment. Always shortening that leash, pulling up straight up if needed if she's like really going at it, and using those taps and bumping that power to get her to de-escalate. Okay. Now that part of the activity takes the longest to address because you can't plan for it.
Right.
Okay. So let's say aside from those dogs, when passing by like dogs out here, like for instance there was this one, right? Were you doing the step aside and allowing them to pass, or were you trying to move past those dogs?
Stepping to the side or just like moving further. So like for example, you have like a sidewalk like this, and then say if the dog is coming, then I'll move to the other side.
But are you staying on the other side of the street?
Not the other side of the street, but just like further.
Okay.
Further away.
Sure. Okay. And then you're seeing that she's huffing. Are you getting like reactivity, or is it more so just like low level stuff?
It's mainly just the huffing and puffing.
Okay.
And she may bark. She may bark a little bit.
Okay. So that is normal. Like it's good because we're not getting the bigger stuff. Is you can still correct that. Okay. So the same thing. When she huffs, you would just correct and then see what she does in response. Okay. And you might find that you escalate her. If that happens, you just keep tapping, pull up to de-escalate. So that she learns that tap never means to blow up, tap means to calm down. Okay? And I would put myself, like I think this distance you have here is good, and we're always wanting to be like this. Okay? Unless you find that that person doesn't have good control, then more distance is wise. But I'm trying to push her comfort zone by doing just like a 3 to 4 foot distance. So I'm really pressing her to make. Okay, we got those. Oh, okay. Yep. Now what you do here? Yep. Wait a moment. Good. So go ahead and come forward, and in that general area right there. So there you go. Now up. Yep. And then anchor yourself. So what's happening is you're moving with picnic. And what you want to do is anchor yourself. So once you're stationary, if she moves back, you tap and pull her forward. And you plant her right there. Because every time you're moving with her, she's active. You're resetting her brain, and you want to keep her within the moment of we were here, and you're not going to bark, and you're going to put your butt down. Okay? Otherwise, you'll end up backing up, and then you might run into something. Okay? But yeah, anytime your picnic's frame of reference, and like, you know, it's not uncommon for like people to like spiral and the dog jumping around them, and then everybody keeps spiraling. Right? So you always just anchor yourself so that she can right away go to, what am I supposed to be doing? Oh, I'm supposed to be right next to you. And you're using your leash as a guide. So if I pull up and tap picnic and she goes back, then I pull forward, and if needed, tap her to get her to come forward and position herself here. So I'm making it very strict for her. Okay? So here she barked and she saw that shepherdy looking dog. You correct it, and then we go back to being relaxed. Okay? So, excuse me, anytime you see the opportunity, I would take advantage of it. And I think this is a good distance here, where you're far enough away from the dog, but you're really going to be testing your boundaries. You're going to have another dog pushing her, by the way. And go ahead and position yourself so that you're to the exact like that. Okay? And then you're just going to relax that arm. Relax. Because you're already like this. You're already anticipating, right? But you want to be relaxed and just ready. So here, relax your arm. Tap. 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 Tap, tap. Tap, tap. Puppy number. You're like, tap. Tap. Tap, tap. Like you lost power. Tap, tap, tap. There you go. Good. So, that right arm right away kicks into this. Back or up and back, escalate. Up, de-escalate. Okay, and I actually had another client who's been struggling with reactivity, and then one day I saw her and she went like this, actually trying to tap. I'm like, that's why you're having problems. And then I said, pull straight up. Okay, and then once you start pulling straight up, the activity started de-escalating like that. Okay, like that. Okay, and when you're standing with her, you want to give trust. Okay, like I trust that you're going to behave yourself, but also I trust in the fact that if you don't behave yourself, I will make you behave. It's those two things going on. Because as soon as because I know with experience, and of course right now she's still processing that things, is you're conditioned of be reactive, right? So then instead of like feeding into it or like this, because that will create something, I go, all right, well if you're reactive, I'm just going to stop it and teach you not to do that. Does that make sense? So it's just changing these little things. You know, everybody has those habits. It's super common. Is always being relaxed, because if you're relaxed and the dog's passing, it's like, oh, okay, well mom was intense about it, so then there's nothing for me to be intense about. Okay, because you guys are having a conversation with each other, and part of it's to that leash. Okay? Questions?
That makes sense.
Hold up. If you have to control her, always straight up. Okay? Go ahead and tap for the sit here. There you go. Yeah, very good. Now here, because she went backwards, right? Keep where you're at. Lightly pull forward. Yep. More forward. Yep. Pull forward. That. Now up. Okay. And then when you do forward, it's more like this. And you're doing more like this. You're doing up and forward, and you want to do forward, right? So we have up. That's for the sit. That's for de-escalation. And then we have forward, which is to scoot her from back here to up here by your side. Okay? Questions? And then what you bump it to? 42? Okay. And I like that you just turned it and then you started tapping. That's good. So you're not too wrapped up on like what the number's going to be. Okay? And even at the 42, within that moment, I think it may have lost the contact there. So looking at it, I didn't see very many contractions. When you have good response and connection, it should be within that first, if not the first time, that third tap, some kind of response. If you don't, yeah, I would kind of maybe about a notch or two. Good. Okay, and then go ahead and dip down. Let's go down to 37. Okay, and then reposition. There you go. Now here, keep where you're at. Forward, tip, tip. More now. You want to go to your side and forward. There you go. That's fine for them. Good. Praise the girl. All right, let's go and bring it back to the sidewalk here. All right. Excuse me? Yeah, so here, whenever you're gonna have her sit, you can short momentarily so that you can pull up on it, right? So go ahead and position her to a sit. Yep, that's fine. We'll accept that for now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add in the word heel, okay? So you're gonna cue the word heel first, and then you're gonna move forward with your right leg. Okay, because you heel on your right, correct? Yep. So you're gonna say heel, and then you move forward with your right leg, and now have you pivot so you're facing that way. And we're gonna repeat that a few times, okay? You're gonna say heel, move forward with your right leg, you're gonna walk for a little bit, go stop. Picnic should automatically sit. If not, up, tap, correct her if needed. Wait a moment, heel, right leg. We're gonna repeat that 5 times, okay? If Picnic were to get ahead of you, or to pass you when you come to a stop, you would do that correctional turn and tap to bring her back to your side. Okay?
So, say, when I'm ready to go, say, heel, and then walk, and then tap.
Yeah. Yeah. A little bit of a huff here. Good. Give it tap. All right, now up. Now you see how big of a response you're getting there? Now you have really good connection, okay? Because earlier on that 42, there was nothing. Right there, you did one tap, and right away she's like, whoa. You know, so the other possibility with the reactivity stuff is being too loose. If you have, I think we have it fitted right now is pretty good. If you have nail polish at home, just put a strip of nail polish to mark that where that spot is, so that you always have good connection. Okay. So we'll go ahead and position so that she's on your right side. That's good. Yeah, that's fine. And then go ahead and give her a little bit of slack. And then you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna say heel with that right leg, move forward, and then you'll turn immediately left to like walk down this path, okay? Right? Good, it's much better. Good turn, and then you'll slow down to a stop. Up, there you go. Now here, lightly pull forward, tap. Let's go down to 30. Because now that we have good, you can see the difference in response now. Yep, a little bit more forward. There we go, that's good. Add a girl. Wait a moment, good. And then slack. Good, and heel, right leg. Good. Good turn. Then slow, slower. Stop, that's a good stop. Up. Now here, because she went forward, you're gonna pull back, tap to bring her to your side. Let's go down to 22. Good. And then the slack. We'll accept that for now, but go ahead and give slack. There you go, perfect. So I just want her more so like just lined up with you. I'm gonna let that little bit of space go, but definitely not like ahead in front of you looking at you or too far behind, okay? Heel.
Heel.
Good turn. Good. Because now we have good connection. Yeah. Going slow to slow stop. Right. Good. She got it. Right. Now we want to politely pull forward. There we go. That's okay. Up. Yeah, forward. There she goes. A little bit more. Now up. Better. Much better. Good girl. We're going to do 2 more. Good. Good turn. Good girl. And slow to a stop. Yep, good job. Tap, pull forward, tap. There it is. Good. That's okay. One more. One more heel. It's okay.
I'm just like, this program that's really good, this one we've had for a really long time, where we just like open it up even more. One thing that we have to talk about is that we very
Good, and slow to stop. Good, yep, and then back towards your side. Yep, tap, there she goes. A little bit more back. Good. There you go. Okay. So now we have an on switch. So technically, if you come outside and you don't say heel, like picnic, can technically be free. Okay. So heel would be turning everything that we covered last week and today to turn it on. Okay. So it's very simple. The reason why we're using that right leg is because dogs have a wider peripheral range. So when she sees that right leg moving, she's going to think, now I walk. Okay, so in more advanced training, right leg would mean walk with me, left leg means no. Okay, and we just condition that simply through being consistent with the legs that we use. Okay, so now we're going to cover the turns. So you know when you're going to stop and you know when you're going to turn, of course. And just like driving, like we have blinkers and we pump the brakes so that we use our lights and all that stuff to communicate with our other drivers, like, hey, I'm doing something, right? With healing, it's the same kind of concept. We use specific leg movements to communicate with the dog what it is that we're doing so they can actually move with us. Okay? So with heel, Picnic's job is to pay attention to you and to be mindful of you and walk at your side and sit when you stop. It's your job to make sure that she's paying attention to doing those things, but also your job to communicate with Picnic what it is that you're doing, because she will never, guess like, oh, mom's going to make a left here, or she's going to come to a stop at this side. Okay? So I'm going to show you all those turns. The first one we'll start off with is Z. The first one we're going to start off with is the crossover turn. You're going to be crossing over Picnic, okay? So when we're walking, Picnic's here, is when you're going to make a right turn over Picnic, you want to lead it with your left leg, okay? So when we turn, you'd slow down, and you're going to cut in front of Picnic at a 90-degree angle, okay? So very sharp. Then it's going to be your right leg, and then you're going to cut in again with your left leg, like this. So it's left, right, left. Okay. Left, right, left, right, left. You cut in. So if you keep doing that repeatedly, you would end up outlining a square because it's really sharp, okay? So a lot of people will turn. You're good. And then they're supposed to. A lot of people try to turn with their right leg, but if Picnic is here and you just go like this, you're gonna either trip over her or you're gonna kick her out, okay? So, we'll tap. I just saw her huffing. Yeah, you don't want to leave with your right leg because she's going to be too close. You want to use that left leg, and it gives her time to see what you're doing to turn with you. Okay? Yep. This way. Yes. Okay, so it'd be left, right, and then you'll turn in again with your left leg. Okay? The next turn is the pivots. The pivots you've already been doing. That's when you're walking with a Picnic, she gets ahead of you, and you would just do this. You're going back the opposite way, right? But now, if she's paying attention, it would be unfair to just pivot out of nowhere. You have to give her some kind of visual cue. So what we're gonna do here, again, slow down prior to that turn, is you're gonna extend and step out with your right leg, step back to your left leg, and then forward to right leg, so you're going the opposite way, okay? So it becomes right, left, right. Right, left, right, just like that, okay? Now a lot of people do like this, where they'll swing their leg around, okay? Yeah, that would be incorrect. You want to step out like you did originally, back on the left, and then you turn like that, okay? So it gives Picnic a visual, and then you'll see her start to curve around you because she's reading your body language, okay? So there should be no tapping here. If she's moving with you, there's no tapping, okay? And then once you complete the turn, you would walk at your own normal pace, okay? Questions? Correct. Exactly. Perfect. Okay, and we're gonna do them in batches. We're gonna start with the crossover because that tends to be the hardest for people. Okay. And you can use the sidewalk as a guide. So if I'm walking with Picnic here, if I use the cracks here, I can turn on the crack. Now, so if this was a regular sidewalk, you would actually stay within the sidewalk. This is twice the size, right? So like on a regular, like maybe in your neighborhood, when you're practicing, you can use that to help you get the leg movements. And right now I'm doing very exaggerated for you, but really when I walk with dogs, it's not like that. It's, I slow down and it's much more subtle, okay? But for the sake of practicing and getting these things in muscle memory, I exaggerate in the beginning, okay? Questions? Practice.
I feel like I might mess up, but
Everybody messes up, okay? So we'll start with the crossovers. So to do these turns, you're gonna wanna gravitate to the left side of the sidewalk to give you enough space. Crossing to the right turns. You would hug to the left of the sidewalk so that when you cross over to the right, you have plenty of space. Okay? Whenever you're ready. Almost. So let's do this. Here, let me show you here. Okay. So we'll use the sidewalk as a guide. Because I'm going to be turning to the right. I want to be on this side of the sidewalk. And if I watch the track, I slow down. Left, right, then left. Now we're going that opposite way. Right? And again, if I use the sidewalk, left, right. So go ahead and walk a little bit just to get some momentum going. So that it's a bit more clear when you slow down when you're making that right turn. There you go. And push through. There you go. Good. Right. Right. So you see how she's getting out of line, right? So try this. Try going down a few squares and then slow down and then go into the turn to give her enough time to catch what you're doing, okay? And slow. Yep, now try it. Uh-oh. You got it. And slow. So here, so you see how she's getting ahead, right? She's getting distracted. So now, because your intention is to do these turns, but her positioning, because she's ahead of you, isn't allowing her to read that, right? Is go ahead and go into those correction turns to line her up first, and then revisit trying to make that crossover turn. Okay?
I reached out to my
Yeah, this is good. Now slow, right, left, right. There you go. That was a better turn. Okay. Good one. Try one more. Try one more.
Tips. I was like, yeah, you did it last time we were at the park too.
Okay, going to come to a stop. So you got the leg movements correct, but you're taking too many steps. Because you're walking across the entire sidewalk, right? Is by the third step you should be going back the other way. And so you're doing very sharp dog, little pup coming. Side. Yep. Tap. Forward. Tap. There you go. Better. Like that. Good. Is by the third step you should already be going the opposite way. Okay? So it's left, right, and then on that third step, we're already going the other way, okay? And I think you're doing like 5 or 6 steps before you're completing that turn. So make them very sharp, very pronounced. Okay, you have the leg movements correct, and now it's just a matter of like making them assertive enough where picnic starts to back away, okay? I know it's a lot of thinking because you got to think about what you're doing and everything. Oh, that was a good one. Yep. So then on that, remember on that third step, you're already going back the opposite way. 1, 2, and 3, you'd be turning already. 1, 2, turn. 1. So I'll have you go a little bit more further down and think 1, 2, turn. Okay, so 1 step, 2 step, and on that third step, you're already going to be turning. So you were doing 1, 2, and then on the 3, you were starting the turn, but you were still taking it like an additional 2 steps. So it's about like a 6-step turn that you're doing, and you're getting it on the third. You're already going the opposite way. Okay. Good. When you're ready. Okay, now go a little bit, go forward. So after you complete this turn, walk down a bit, okay? And I'll coach you through it. So go down a bit, go straight. Keep going straight. Then slow. And 1, 2, 3. There you go. That was a good one. Keep straight. There you go. 1, 2, and then 3. There you go. You got it. Good. Three. 1. Getting better. 2 and 3. So on that 3, you're making that sharp 90-degree cut. 1, 2, and turn. Left, right, turn. Better. Good. Go and step aside. Good. Tap. 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 There she goes. Good. Okay. So, do you want me to show you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. 1 sec. Yeah, the crossovers are always the hardest. All right. Okay. Thank you. So, all right, so. So I'm making them very pronounced. So I have a pretzel here. Left, right, left. It's very specific. The movements that I'm making. And girl. Yeah. Try again. All right. Better. Right, left. There you go. Good. Tap, crack the, there she goes. Did I call her Pretzel?
Yeah, you did.
I had a client earlier, her name's Pretzel. Right, yeah, good. Let's try 2 more. There you go, and 1 more. Good, and then slow to stop. There we go. Much better. Good. Much more direct, much more assertive. All your steps were good. You were leading them with the right leg. It was just too many steps. Okay. So now we'll go to the pivots. That's the stepping up forward with the right, back on the left, turning.
So that's just.
Yep. Okay. That one's usually the easiest. Go ahead. Go. Good. Now go in and slow to stop. Good. So you're doing more of a swivel. So step forward with your right leg. Now step back onto your left leg. And then now turn with your right leg coming back like that. So you would actually pick your foot up. Okay, so it would be, so you got right, left, turn. Yep, like that. Okay, let's go and try it now. You did the first one. You did what you're doing originally. So keep walking, and then you're gonna step out with that right foot. Now back on your left foot, like that. Perfect. That was it. Pull up to your right for picnic. Tap, tap. Add a girl. Good. There you go. Good. Right. It's okay, but you did the other turn correct, so I was fine. So now you're doing the right turns. So it's right, left, right. Right, left, but going to your left. Like that. There you go.
Told me not to.
Good. Almost. There's a lot of coordination with this one. Left. There you go. That was better. That was better. Left. There you go. Better. Left. There you go. Couple more. Good.
Was the menu the same as that one?
No, totally different.
Oh, so it's not a menu design.
I mean, I guess we
Good. Oh, pen. Good. All right, I'm going to come to a stop here. So yeah, there's a lot of coordination here because now you got to think about what you're actually doing. So what I recommend for people in the beginning is before they start their walk, is that you start first with saying heel with the right leg, walking a little bit, coming to a stop, heel, right leg, walk for a bit, come to a stop, and then do 5 heels to the right turns, and then 5 heels to left pivots to warm up, and then you start your walk. Because the hard part's going to be now when you're walking, when you're with Pretzel, with Picnic, with Picnic, is timing. Oh, I'm going to make a left or I'm going to make a right at the stop sign, you know. So then you have to start planning your steps prior before making that turn. So, you know, most people, it's unnatural to have to use your body language to communicate unless you're like a dancer or something. Because like when I get clients that are dancers, like they pick up on this real fast. They even pick up on it before I even teach it because they're so used to watching leg movement. And I do this so often that when I already train dogs from the beginning, I'm already naturally doing these things because I've done it for so long. So, but for the average dog owner, you know, they're like, they have to think, and it's a process before they get those habits down. So I suggest before, like the walk, you start off, you give her potty break. You let her, you know, pee, poop, get that business out. Then, you know, start with the heel, walk a little bit, stop, heel, walk a little bit, stop, heel, practicing the left turns, you know, giving some space between each turn as well to give yourself enough time to synchronize with her, and then doing the 5 left pivots, okay? What we're gonna try here, oh, and one thing is, remember to slow down prior to the turn. So the turns you're doing here, you're going straight into them. And so what I'm gonna have you try now is practice going to the heel. You're gonna walk at a normal kind of brisk pace, slow down, and then go into those turns. Okay? I'll have you do the turns as you please, so you can mix it up how you want. Just to get you used to like using them interchangeably. But the main thing is slowing down prior to those turns. Okay? Whenever you're ready. Right, there you go. Good. Now try some of the right turns. So you'll be turning into Picnic. Left. There you go. That was a good turn. Good job. Good. And remember, you want to slow down prior to the turn. Good. So go ahead and pick up your pace a bit. Yeah, go ahead and walk a little faster. So this way when you slow down, it's a bit more dramatic. Then try your slow. All right, left, there you go. Now try a tap, good, good. All right, tap forward. Getting a little distracted by the dogs over there. We try a couple of the right turns. Right, left. That was a good turn. That was a good one.
Mommy, I even got more steps than the coach.
Yeah.
Well, since I had to watch her, he taught me to go.
Just a couple more. Good turn. Good, last one. There you go, and slow to stop. Very good. So, now it's just practicing and applying to yep. So like if she's jumping on someone she wants to say hi to, you would tap for the yep. There you go. For the jumping, and as soon as your butt's on the ground, they continue with the touching. And then she learns, okay, if I jump up, I get tapped. If I keep my butt on the ground, I get the pets that I'm looking for. Now to practice these as you go on your walks. This is a part of heel. This is the package of heel. Heel is for picnic, walk with you, stay with you, sit when I stop. Heel for you is to ensure that she's paying attention, but then also make sure you're using that body language, remembering to slow down prior to those stops, prior to those turns, to communicate to picnic, hey, something's changing, so that she can actually catch on to what you're doing. Almost always when the dog's not catching those turns, it's because the owner's not slowing down. Okay, you do want to be mindful with that right arm, because you have that habit of pulling back. So if you're trying to make a turn and picnic keeps going, that means she's not paying attention. You just turn and correct her, line her back up again, and then try again for that turn. Okay? Questions?
No.
So you have your homework. It'll be a lot of thinking this week, and